this is lesson 28, and we'll start. Okay.
Good.
Yaakov hat gewusst im Emes. Yaakov knew the truth. Is mehr nicht bei sich in Rechus. He was no longer in control of himself. Der Sotten spielt und Yankov tanzt. The Satan plays with him, and he, Yaakov, dances. Heilig seinen der Rede von Perek Avos. Ovus, probably, Ovus. Holy are the words from the wisdom of our fathers, Pirkei Avot. Avera goreret Avera. Ein Sinn schleppt noch die andere. Sin brings sin. One sin brings the next one. Weil Yaakov hat geglust zu erfreuen, was ist ihm verboten, hat jetzt abgenagt a Stadt mit jedem, als sein Weib ist stumm. Since he, Yaakov, had lusted after a woman who was forbidden to him, he had now fooled a village with Jews that his wife was mute. Nicht ein Stadt, nur Sach jüdische Kehilas. Not just one city, one place, but a lot of Jewish communities. Weiber mit schwerer Gemieter kommen zu sagen, was ist schon in 8. Chodesh, die soll auflegen die Hand auf ihre Cap und sie benchen. So this was because there was this great miracle that she spoke. Women who were in a bad way, a bad spirit, came to Sarah, who was already in the 8th month, that she should lay her hands on their heads and bless them. Das Pilitzer Kol hat sich gehabt eingespart, als Yankov soll annehmen die Arrender beim Poritz Pilitsky. The community of Pilitz had become stubborn, that Yaakov must take over the rental arrangement, the arrangement with the Poritz Pilitsky. Gershon hat gehabt verloren die Part. Gershon had lost his contract. Der Poritz hat gewohnt, als oid Yankov wird nicht während sein Arrender, wird bringen Emetzen von an andere Stadt. The Poritz had warned that if Yaakov was not willing to become his contractor, he was going to bring somebody from another city, from another place. Hat afilu gedroht die Pilitzer Jiden, als wird sie heraustreiben, ob Yaakov wird nicht annehmen die Arrende. He had even warned the Jews that he was going to drive them out if Yaakov did not take over the contractual arrangement. Es ist gehabt der Gang den dazu, als die Pilitzer Parnesim mitten Berosch seine gekommen wetten bei Jakovin, soll während Pilitskis Arrender. it happened that it occurred that the elected community members of Pilitz came with the Rav in the head as a sort of procession. They came to ask that Yaakov take over this contractual arrangement with the Poritz. Afilu Gershon, der Tokif, hat Stillerheit gehabt, eingewilligt Jakob soll derweil verwalten mit der Poritzes Gitter. Even Gershon, the powerful one, had quietly agreed that in the meantime, Yaakov should be the person who was in charge of the real estate of the Poritz. He had his way of thinking about this. He had his considerations. Yaakov der Kneller konnte wade nicht unterscheiden zwischen Korn und Weiz. He thought to himself, Yaakov, the teacher of the children, the Kneller, he certainly couldn't tell the difference between rye and wheat. Wird bringen dem Poritz Schotten. He would bring catastrophes to the Poritz. Pilitsky wird einsehen, als kon on ihm, Gershonen, nicht auskommen. He would see, as a result of the incompetence of Yaakov, that he could not survive without Gershom's help. Alle is gewähnt verwickelt, die seinen gewöhnlich, die Sofim von Mensch. Everything is complicated, as is generally the case in matters relating to humans. Aber gebeut is das als auf a liegen, but everything was built on a lie. They zu dem Haus, was der Fundament seins is Shekel. A pity, woe, you would say, woe to the house whose foundation is built on untruths. Aber was kun Jakob tun? What could he, Jakob, do? If he would tell the truth, that men ihn und Saren verbrennen eufen Scheitel. If he told the truth, they would burn him and Sarah on the fire, on the pyre. Wie heilig dem Emes soll nicht sein, turmen sie nicht umbringen vor ihn. As holy as truth is, one is not permitted to sort of commit suicide for it, to destroy yourself for it. Das Leben is Leut dem Jiddischen Din Bilchil. According to Jewish law, Jewish life is preferable. Life is preferable. Banach, wenn Yankov is gelegen wach, hat geteinet zum Abonish alone. During the night, when Yaakov lay awake, unable to sleep, like the Poritz, he would he would argue with God. It weighs as it olam haba. I know that I lost the world to come. Nu is Bashir Bachan. So basically, what now? What is now? Du bist noch als Gott und ich bin dein Bashafi. After what now? You are, after all, God, and I am your creation. Straf mich, Vater. Ich nehm euch mir als lieb. You can punish me, Father. I take everything that you do with me with love, willingly. Die Straf hat gekonnt kommen jeden Tag. The punishment could come any day. Is der Stegel von an Isha zu schreien bei die Geburt wegen und zu reden allerlei Rede. It is the way of a woman in the time of birthing to cry and to speak all different kinds of speech, to say everything. Es ist glatt nicht gemalt, wie soll lang opnachen de Welt. It's simply not going to be possible to continue to fool the world. Früher oder später schwimmt a Häus dem Emmes wie Bäume auf dem Wasser. Sooner or later, the truth is going to come out like oil on water. Aber derweil hat Yaakov gemusst tun das Seinige. But in the meantime, Yaakov had to do what his responsibility was, what he had to do. Gott hat gebencht die Felder mit Gerettnis. The God had blessed the field with abundance this year as compared with the earlier year. Seinen Heil mehr nicht gewähnt kein schwedischer und polnischer Sellner, wo sollen sie treten dem Fallsorg. This year, there were not the Swedes or the Poles, or Swedish soldiers or Polish soldiers to march over and destroy the farzeh, the sewing. Wie bald Yaakov hat gehad genommen in Piliskas Vermögen, hat gemusst sich leisten, als der Poritz soll haben Verdiensten. Since he had taken over the contract with taking care of the Poritz's lands, his property, he must be zealous, be careful that the noble would have a profit. Es ist gewähnt klar, als von dem, was Jacobin hat, Jacobin wird bleiben, wird müssen Stillerheit auszahlen Gershlen. It was obvious, it was clear that what was left with Yaakov, he would have to pay quietly secret money to Gershon. Pilitsky hat afilu nicht geschrieben mit Jacobin kein Akt. Adam Pilitsky had not even signed any sort of a contract with Yaakov. Yaakov is gar nicht kein Paktel. He is not, Yaakov was not on a contractual basis with the Poritz, nor a Vermittler zwischen die Poren und dem Poritz. He was a go-between between the peasants and the poorets, zwischen poorets und die Sochoren, and also a go-between between the poorets and the grain merchants. Hat derweil war sich herabgenommen nicht mehr wie der Stickelbeut. For himself, for Yaakov himself, he took just enough for his daily bread. Is gewesen äußerlich wieder zu sein zwischen Felder und Wälder. It was really remarkable, I guess, for Yaakov to be once again between fields and forests, the way he had been when he was in enslavement. Gershon hat gehad ausgebeut, sich nicht weit von Porez's Schloss, a Stub, und Yaakov hat jetzt dort gewohnt, zusammen mit Sachen. Gershon had built for himself, not far from the Porez's castle, a house, and Yaakov now lived there with Sarah Wanda. Das Haus, was Yaakov hat angehäuben wollen, weil sich und war a cheder for the kinder, the house that Yaakov had started to build for himself and as a school for the children, is geblieben nicht vollendet, was not, remained uncompleted. Kol hat sich gerät, herabzubringen an der Melamed. The community prepared itself to bring a new teacher. Die Prosteleit haben sich gewitzelt, als wie bald Yaakov ist geworden an Arender, darauf Gershom wären Melamed. The common people joked among themselves as since Yaakov had become the contractor, Gershom must now become the teacher. Nu, aber mir darf doch können. But you had to know something. It had to be somebody who knew something, and Gershom didn't know too much. A Belfer hat derweil jeden Tag geknellt mit der Kleinwald etliche Schor. In the meantime, a substitute teacher, an assistant, every day taught the children for several hours. Yaakov hat von allemol an gewusst, als alles auf der Welt ist derweil. Yaakov had known for a while that everything in this world is fleeting, is very transitory. Was is then der Mensch? What is the human being? Heint lebt morgen liegt in Kever. I don't think you pronounce it Kever in Yiddish. Must be something else, like Kavor. Moshe?
I think it's Kaver.
Kaver. Okay. Today you're living, and tomorrow you're lying in the grave. Die Gemorra hat verglichen die Welt zur Chasene. The Gemorra had compared the world with a wedding. Mit tanzt op und is ois. You dance one night and it's over. Der Heint wird bald ernechten. The today very quickly becomes yesterday. Gerecht is der Peiten, was vergleicht dem Ben Odom zu a Wolken, schwebt vorbei. Correct is the poet who compares the human being to a cloud that just sweeps by. To a bloom was verweckelt, to a flower that wilts. To a cholm was verfleet, to a dream that disappears. Aber noch kein Mal hat Jakob nicht so übernommen der Weiligkeit von Sachen wie jetzt. Der Weiligkeit, the same word. But not until now had Jacob so taken in the idea of the transitory nature of things as he saw it now. Ort steht ein Feld mit Sangen und ort ist es abgeschnitten und verwisst. Now there's a field with ears of corn, and right now it's cut down and disappears, verwisst. Da seien die Tag lichtig, Leute, und bald wollen sich anhäuben der Regen, die Schneien. Now we see days that are bright and clear, and soon we'll start with the rains and the snow. Da is Yankov a choshev in Pilitz, angenommen beim Poritz. Now he, Yaakov, is embraced. He's an important person in Pilitz, in the town, and he's embraced by the Poritz. Die Poirim heuben vor ihm die Hitlin und rufen im Pan Jelzitz. The peasants lift their hats to him, and they call him Pan. I don't know what Jevjitz is. They're calling him in a respectful way. They treat him in a respectful way. Die Yidden halten ihn for a Balmorphit. The Jews treat him as though he is a miracle worker. Aber bald wird werden zu Scham und zu Spott, und man wird ihm schleppen zu der Klie. But very soon he will be brought to shame and to ridicule, Schand und Spott, and they'll drag him to hang him, Klie. Derweil hat Jakob Achtung getan, wir soll wie Geherig schneiden und dreschen, wegführen die Kerne in Shire. But in the meantime, while he had these thoughts about how fleeting everything is, he paid attention to his jobs, to doing the cutting and the threshing, and to carry the kernel, the grain, to the silo, zu Neuflegen, and to pile the straw und das hay in Steugen, and to put the hay and the straw in piles. Nicht lang noch im Schnitt darf man schon anhäuben sich Regen zum Erkehren die Felder und versehen die Winterzwoe. Very soon, not long after the harvest, it's necessary to begin the plowing of the fields and to start sowing the winter grains. Es ist jetzt Jacobin gekommen zu Nutz, was hat abgelebt, knappe 5 Jahre in Dor. And it was very useful that that Yaakov had lived knappe. I was thinking knappe as at least, but these full 5 years in the village. By Nacht, wenn is gegangen schlafen mit Sarah at night, when he went to sleep with Sarah, hat it's gerät mit ihr nicht bloß von Teure, nur auf wegen dem Possessia. Now, when he went to sleep with Sarah at night, he didn't just speak with her about matters of religion, of the Torah, but also about the management of the land. Wie wohl Gershon hat nicht geführt kein geschriebene Chashbonos, although Gershon had not kept any written records, hat Yaakov Bisselweis eingesehen dem Gershons Schwindelereien. Yaakov slowly saw Gershon's swindles. Small, der poets hat behäuft the Poirim und Hagonev min Hagonev Tor. It was true that the poets was robbing the peasants, and a Ganef, a thief, from a thief gets a pator, a pass, he's not going to be punished. It's okay. It's an authorization. Aber das heißt bloß, als is pator von Malchus. But it's the only release that he gets, pator, that he gets. Wish I had a better explanation, a better translation for pator, a release. The release that he got was only from whipping. Dem low.
Sorry, can I just say something? In Yiddish, you say Potter werden.
Potter werden, that's right. It should be Potter werden. Potter geworden. Good Potter geworden. Potter von Malchus. He would just be freed or released from the whipping. Dem loy tignov verbrecht er. He's breaking the commandment of not stealing. Achutzden bringt das zu Sonis Yisrael und zu Achil Hashem. And in addition to this, in addition to the fact that he's breaking the commandment, it also brings a hatred of Jews that he was stealing this way, and to a disrespect of God. Nu, aber jede eine hat seine Streuchlungen. But everybody has his temptations. Those were Gershon's temptations. Yaakov hat beglückt, aber hat dabei gewusst, als der Aufstieg seiner ist von dem Sort, was wegen dem Wort, dem Wert gesucht. Yaakov was successful, but beglückt. But he knew that his achievement, his rising up, was of the sort that one says the following about. Lifnei shever gaon, far de broch, groiskeit. Before the break, there is a height. Before the catastrophe, there's greatness. I think you'd say there's a nice expression, something comes before the fall. Pride goes before the fall,
Pride
or
goes before.
before the fall, before Großkeit. Die eigene Poerin, was haben wieder gespennigt, Gershenen, und ihm abgetun allerlei Stickler. These same peasants that rebelled against Gershon and played all kinds of tricks on him, haben sich zugehört zu ihm, Jacobin, und ihm geraten, was zu tun. Those same peasants that had rebelled against Gershon and played all kinds of tricks with him, they turned to Yaakov, and they even advised him what to do. Die Häufleit und Piliskis 9. Krovin bis zum niedrigsten Diener, the castle people, or the people who hung around the Hoyth, the court people, from that were Pilitzki's, Adam Pilitzki's closest relatives, down to the lowest wage earner, Diener, haben geguckt auf ihn mit Abscheu. They looked at Yaakov with respect. Dem Poritz's hint was seinen capable zu zerreißen am Mensch auf Stickel, und was Gershon hat, weil sie gezittert bis im letzten Tag, the Poritz's dogs, which were capable of ripping a person to pieces, and whom Gershom was trembling before up until his last days, haben etwas auf a sodesdicken Weg geschlossen Shalom mit ihm. In some, well, sod is a mysterious, in some mysterious or unusual way, made peace with him, Jacobin. Gedreht mit die Ecken, denn hat sich der Nettentelt zum Teuer. When he, Yaakov, they waved their tails, but when he came close to the gate. Remember, he had that dog back in the village that also loved him very much, and loved Vanda. Machlas Sarah ist stumm, und dazu in der Hechel Kadoshim, because Sarah was mute, and in addition was in the late months of her pregnancy, hat der Poet ihr geschickt a Dienst, sie soll sie bedienen. The Poet sent a servant to help her in the house. We hat schon in Heu Jacobin zu viel Mekorov gewählt. It was already like it was too close in the courtyard. It was too close for him. Der Poet hat geschmust mit ihm wie mit an eigenen. The Poets chatted with him as though he was like one of his own. Aber amol und wieder amol verwundert, was Yaakov, kon das Polnische lassen. The Poets had these lot of discussions with him as though he was one of his own. And again, made mention or was amazed that Yaakov had knew the Polish language. Hat gehabt gefragt Gershon allerlei Sachen wegen Jiden und Jiddischkeit. He, Adam Politsky, had asked Gershon many questions about Jews and Judaism. Aber Gershon hat nicht gewusst, was zu antworten. But Gershon never knew what to answer. Afilu de Poritz hat der schmeckt, as is a prostak. Even the Poritz had smelled, had sensed that Gershon was a prostak, a foolish person, not worth anything, a gornished. Yaakov hat euch als geantwortet, Leut die jüdische Sporen. Yaakov answered everything according to the Jewish books. Is gewähnt zugewohnt, euch zu teachen, tiefer Inyanim in klare Wörter und zu geben Mischolim, was legen sich auf dem goyischen Seichel. He was familiar with how to translate, to give him to present deep matters in clear words, and to give examples which would be easily received by the non-Jewish head, the non-Jewish person, Seichel, wisdom. Der Poritz hat gefragt, beehrt die eigene Kasches, was die itzdiker Sache und die friediker Bande. The Poritz asked more or less the same questions that were asked by the current Sarah and the prior Bande. Now, Moshe Zalman. Moshe Zalman.
Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting. I mean, like the weather, etc. It's all quotes from the Yom Kippur service.
Yeah. Right.
You like a cloud, etc. You like
a flower that withers.
Yeah, that withers.
Yeah. Well, that's Bashevis was steeped in that. He had all of that.
Oh, I'm sure he was much better than me, for sure.
Well, much better than most of us. But they grew up that way. That was their daily fare.
Absolutely. In einem Tag, wenn der Poritz ist gesessen mit Jaakoven in der Bibliothek, one day when the Poritz was sitting with Jacob in the library, und ihm gewissen a lateinischer Konkordanz von Tanach, and showing him a Latin concordance of the Bible. So haben sich gefunden auf die Marginessen hebräische Wörter, where on the margins were found Hebrew words. Hat sich geöffnet die Tür, the door opened, und sie ist reingekommen, die Britza, and the Poritz's wife came in.
Here we have it.
Yeah.
Enter trouble.
Always. Yaakov is... we need the next page. Yeah.
You have to lift up.
Yaakov,
one page up.
Yeah. Okay. And Yaakov is aufgestanden, stood up from their stool, from his chair, sich niederig verbeugt, and bowed low. Die Peritze ist gewesen, kleinwuchsig. She was of small stature, dicklich, chubby, mit a keilig dickponim, with a round face, a kurzen Hals, a short throat, neck, a hoichen bosom, a high bosom, die goldene Haar verkämmt, roof, the yellow golden hair combed upwards and verdreht via Rosh Hashanah Rodish and turned around and curl and put in a circle like some Rosh Hashanah pastry cake. I believe with apple. Das schwarz-seidene Kleid, her black velvet, no, silk, her
So,
silk dress, mit die Falden und Bänder with the pleats and ribbons, wat gehad a Schlepp had a train. Auf der Brust hat gehangen a gildener Zählem. On her breast was hanging a golden crucifix cross, besetzt mit Edelsteiner, and it had fixed in it jewels, precious jewels. Auf die kurze Finger haben geblitzt, fingerlich. Rings were kind of blinking on her fingers mit Diamanten. The rings had diamonds in them. Hot fetlebig, although somewhat on the start side, wat sie von deswegen ausgesehen jung. Nevertheless, she looked young. And also what sie gehabt hat, kurze, she had a short nose, lippen full lips, a stern, a glatten, and a smooth forehead. Die dunkle Augen haben gefinkelt, die dark eyes twinkled. Yaakov had gehört, as he is ausgelassen. Jacob had heard that she is very immodest, via hur, like a whore. Aber sie hat in sich a jungmädelsche Frischkeit, but she had within herself a young maidenly freshness. Sie hat jetzt getan a Schmeichel, she smiled, und in die Backen haben sich bewiesen geen gribbelig, and she had uh, what do you call it?
dimples,
Dimple
dimples,
in,
dimples.
in her cheeks. Pilitsky hat getan etwas als eins Vernabung. Pilitsky did something like wink. Und das ist Jacob, here is Jacob. Ja, ich weiß, yes, I know, ich habe euch gesehen, wie viel Mal durch ein Fenster. I've seen you a number of times through the window. Und die Polizei hat Jacob in der Land die Hand, and she gave him her hand. Jacob hat sich a while gepinkelt. Jacob hesitated, aber hat gewusst, was muss tun, but he knew what he had to do. You can just imagine one of our current Orthodox having to kiss this lady's hand.
Oh,
It,
they're
it
so
still holds.
they're so difficult. They're so you don't know what it's like to live with them until you live with them.
Oh no, you even find them in your New York. Anyway, I won't go there now. Hat sich
No.
niedrig verneugt. He bowed down quite low und zugetrogen die Finger ihrer zu seinen Lippen and uh, uh, drew her fingers to his lips. Ist dabei geworden, right? He blushed von der right, und von der Bräuner Bord bis zu die Haarwurzel, from his brown beard to the hair roots. Nu, flick schon in I'm not sure how you say this in Yiddish, Shol Tachter, Sai Visai, I nu, I'm lying in hell anyway. Hat sich wie verändert. He justified himself for sich allein. He justified himself for himself. Der Poritz hat getan Allah. The Poritz obviously understood what was going on in Jacob's head, and he
Mhm.
Oiba soy efter wird ihr trinken mit uns a Gläsel wine. If so, perhaps you will drink with us a glass of wine. Nein, Poritz, gnädiger, no, compassionate Poritz. Das verbietet mir my religion forbids that. Adam Pelitzky hat sich gleich angespitzt. Um, Adam Pelitzky really was getting angry. Um, Spitzen is to come to a point, but I
To
think
come to, yeah,
he,
he bristled. He
he was
bristled.
bristling. Thank you. Bristling is
Yeah,
a great translation there.
yeah.
Forbidden ha, gan by the Christen dos merkt ihr. You're allowed to steal from Christians, aber trinken Wein mit sie is verwehrt. But drinking wine with them is forbidden. Und wer hat das verwehrt and who forbade that? Der Talmud was heißt, Opnaren Christen, the Talmud that um, teaches you to cheat Christians. Der Talmud redet nicht wegen Christen, nur wegen Heiden. The Talmud doesn't talk about Christians, but about heathen. Heiden, heathens. Beim Talmud sind wir alle Heiden. In the Talmud wir all heathen. Ihr hat gegeben dem Welt die Bibel. You gave the world the Bible, aber bald noch hat abgekehrt von Gottes Weg. But soon after that, you turned away from God's path und verlekend Gottes Sohn, and you denied God's Son. Darüber schickt man auf euch die alle Plagen, and that's why they send all the troubles and plagues on you. Heinz straft euch der Hetman Khmelnytsky. Today, the Cossack chief Khmelnytsky is punishing you. Morgen wird kommen aneinander. Tomorrow, somebody else. Uh, der ihr werdet keinmal nicht haben, kein Ruhe. You will never have rest, bis ihr wird nicht der Konnen dem Emmes und you will never have any rest until you will acknowledge the truth and die Pani Pilitsky hat sich verklemmt. Die Duchess grimaced. Adam, die dosige Diskussions haben nicht keinen Zweck. Adam, these discussions have no end point. Ich muss sie einmal sagen dem Emes, I sometimes have to tell them the truth. Der Ried Gershon ist ein Marvicher und ein Esel für ein Zulog. The Jew Gershon is a thief and a mule in addition. Hat gar nicht gekonnt, he knew nothing. Viele nicht sein eigener Bibel, not even his own Bible. Der Jacob said was to sein an ehrlicher. Jacob looks like an honest man, und ein verständiger, and someone with understanding. Ich will ihm darüber fragen, etliche Fragen, and therefore I want to ask him some questions. Nicht jetzt, Adam, not right now, Adam. Ist vernommen mit der Wirtschaft. He is involved and occupied with the economy, with the finances. Die Wirtschaft wird nicht anlaufen. The finances will not run away. Setz dich, sit down here und hab nicht kein Furcht and don't have any fear. Wir wollen dir nicht tun kein Base. We won't harm you. Sitz da, also ich sit down here like this. Nicht die Pani und nicht dich halten von Rufzwingen auf Amateur unser Glauben. Neither my wife nor I believe in forcing our belief on someone. Wie kann man zwingen glauben? How can you force belief on someone? Wir haben doch nicht in Polen kein Inquisitia wie in Spanien. We don't have any inquisition in Poland as they have in Spain. Poland is a free land. Poland is a free land, schon zu viel frei, perhaps too free. Und darüber gehen wir zugrunde, and that's why we are going under. Aber das ist nicht deine Schuld. But this isn't your fault. Ich will fragen etwas. I want to ask this. schon so viel hunderte Jahren, so many hundreds of years, mehr wie 1000 Jahre, more than 1,000 years, was rede ich, what am I saying? Mehr wie 1500 Jahre, more than 1500 years, wir hofft, um, wir hofft auf euer Mashiach, that you are looking forward to your Messiah. Aber kommt nicht, but he's not coming. Kommt nicht derweil, weil ist schon gekommen. And he's not coming because he has already come. Und proklamiert für alle Völker Gottes Emmes. And he has already proclaimed for all the nations God's truth. Aber ihr seid eingespart, but you are stubborn. Ihr segregiert sich von allem und you separate yourself from everyone. Unser Fleisch ist für euch treif. You cannot eat our meat because it is unclean, or treif, whatever treif means. Unser Wein ist für euch unwertig. Your wine, our wine is not
Our wine, yeah.
our wine is not worthy of for you. Mit unserer Töchter tut ihr sich nicht beheften. You are not allowed to join in marriage with our daughters. Ihr hat sich eingeschmust, als Gott hat euch aus der Welt. You have persuaded yourselves that God has chosen you. Aber zu was hat euch aus der Welt? But for what has he chosen you? Ihr sollt wohnen in finstere Ghettos und trocken Lattes, that you should live in dark ghettos and carry and wear um, yellow rags.
Patches, lotta, like patches,
Yellow
lotta of
patches. Thank you.
patches,
Ich
passion.
bin gewesen in Iceland und zugesehen, wie die Jiden leben dort. I've been overseas and I've seen how the Jews live there. Reich sein und sie umtun. They're rich everywhere. Weil
Oh,
die Kefalachayre trachten dort von Prophet because your because your heads only think of profit, aber verhasst seid ihr wie die Spinnen, but you are hated like spiders. Wie kommt es, was ihr tracht nicht rein in euer Stand? So why don't you consider how you've gotten into the state, und ihr prüft nicht revidieren euer Glauben in dem Talmud, and you are not trying to review your belief in the Talmud. Efter seien doch die Christen gerecht. Perhaps the Christians are correct. Noch allem, and after all, in Himmel is keiner von euch nicht darauf. None of you have yet been up to heaven. Wirklich, die Dosiker religiöse Debatten haben nicht keinen Sinn. Truly, these religious debates have no sense, or Teresa Pilitsky aufgetan. Teresa Pilitsky all that. Was nicht? Why not? Menschen müssen sich durchreden. People have to talk things through. Ich rede zu ihm ohne Zorn. I'm speaking to him without any anger. Wir gleicher zu gleichen. Like, we're talking like equals. Aber ob wird mich können überzeugen, als die Jeden seien gerecht, will ich wer naiv. If he could persuade me that the Jews are right, I'll become a Jew. Und der Poritz hat getan Allah, and he laughed.
wow. Ah, a lot in that, yeah.
Okay, I may be interrupted because we have window cleaners, so I will tell you when. Okay,
All right.
may
Yeah.
may have to move, but anyway, I'll carry on. Ich kann nicht keinem überzeugen, Poritz Gnädiger, hat Jakob genommen reden mit Stammeln nicht. I cannot persuade anyone, merciful Poritz. Jacob started saying, stammering. Ich habe übergenommen dem Glauben von meinen Eltern und ich halte sich in dem, wie viel ich kann. I have inherited my belief from my parents and I keep with them as much as I can. Die Heiden haben euch gehabt, Eltern, und jene haben sie gelernt, als a stehen is Gott. The heathens also had parents or elders, and
Ellen.
and they taught them that a stone is God, aber Iriden hat geheißen zerstören seine Tempeln und ausrotten sie und seine Kinder. But you Jews told them to destroy their temples and um, exterminate them and their children. Het is door in our testament. This is what the Bible says. Heißt es nicht, doesn't it mean, als man darf sich nicht rechnen, was man hat übergenommen bei den Eltern, doesn't that mean that you don't have to really take account of what you have inherited from your elders? Die Bibel is heilig bei die Christen euch. And that is Jacob's answer. The Bible is also holy among the Christians. Gewiss, definitely. Aber es muss doch sein, etwas Logik in die Gehirn. But there has to be some logic in the brains. Alle Völker äußer euch und die verscholtenen Türken haben angenommen dem christlichen Glauben. All the nations, aside from you and the cursed Turks, have accepted the Christian belief, aber ihr Jeden, but you Jews, halt als ihr seid Krieger von der ganzen Welt, thinking that you are cleverer than the whole world, von ganz Europa, than all of Europe, is wie bald Gott hat euch also lieb, so seeing as God loves you such a lot, for was schluckt euch in jeden door? Why does he beat you in every generation? For was lost us all schänden eure Weiber? Why does he allow your wives to be basically raped, but put to shame? Und begraben eure Kinder lebendiger hate and bury your children alive. Ashanda is shamed. Your wives are
Yes,
shamed.
shame. Mhm.
Ja. Jakob hat gemacht, Amina, wie wollte, etwas aufgeschlungen. Jakob made a movement, a facial movement as he had to swallow something. Das tun oft die Christen. The Christians often do that. Die Kosaken seien so Christen, wie ich bin Pers. The Cossacks are as much Christians as I am a Persian. Die Emerser Christen seien die Katholiken und weiter keiner nicht. The true Christians are the Catholics, and aside from that, nobody. Die Pravoslavner seinen Punkta, seine Götzendiener wie die Terpen. The Greek Orthodox or the Russian Orthodox are just as much idol worshippers as the Turks. Was mit sie haben sie Verbindungen, and with them they have connections. Und
Mhm.
die Protestanten seien noch ärger, and the Protestants are even worse. Aber das hier hat gar nichts zu tun mit der Frage, was ich habe dir gestellt. But this Jew has nothing to do with the question which I have set for you. Wir können nicht Gottes Wegen berücksichtiger. We don't know God's ways for its enlightened one. Katholiken leiden auch. Catholics also suffer. Sie führen auch viele Milchomes zwischen sich. They even have wars between each other. When Jakob hat sich abgehakt and Jakob cut himself short. Adam Pilitsky hat eine Weile übergeklärt. Adam Pilitsky thought it over. Gewiss leiden wir, of course we're suffering. Der Mensch ist geboren geworden zu leiden. Humans are born to suffer, as euch steht in der Bibel. That's what the Bible says. Aber unsere Leiden haben einen Sinn. But our sufferings have a purpose. Die Neshomas unsere werden ausgeleitet und kommen später in den Himmel. Our souls will be purified and later come into heaven. Aber bei die Ungläubiger haben sich an die richtigen Leiden erst noch enttäuscht. But by the unbelievers, the real sufferings only starts after they die. Teresa Pilitsky hat getan ein Schockel im Kopf in der Breit. Teresa Pilitsky shook her head from side to side. Wirklich, Adam, really, Adam, die Dosika Vikuchim haben nicht keinen Zweck. There's no point with all these debates. Man kann keinem nicht aufweisen, wo der Emmes liegt. You cannot show anyone where the truth lies. It's a Frage von Hart. It's a question of one's heart, nicht von Kopf. It's a matter of emotion, not of logic, basically, but von Kopf. Und Teresa Pilitsky hat angewiesen mit der Hand auf der Brust, and Teresa Pilitsky pointed with her hand to her breast. Ja, das ist wahr. Durchläuft, hat Jakob gemurmelt. Yes, your ladyship, this is the truth, Jacob murmured. Murmured, yeah. Okay, ungenommen, not coming. Ungenommen als es so, aber was ist vor der Ziel von der jüdischen Hartnäckigkeit? Accepting that this is so, what is the purpose of the Jewish stiff-necked? Sorry?
Yeah, right.
Ja, ihr denkt Gott leut euer falschen Glauben. You serve God according to your false belief. Eure Buschnitzers sind allemal voll mit jener, was modeln sich. Your, well, this is your churches are always full with those who
You know
are...
that word Buzhnitzes, we ran into that before. Remember, he said he was going to, Adam Politsky said when he was threatening, he said, I'm going to put you all in the Buzhnitz and I'm going to
I suspect that Buschnitzer is the word for a Christian church.
A Christian church. Yeah. If we put it into Google, well, we don't have to do it now, but I bet you think it's I'm sure in Polish or, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just suspect so, but whether it means a Jewish church or a
Yeah.
Christian church, I don't know. It just seemed so different from base midrash.
Yeah. Buzhnitze. But we had it before.
Yeah. It's something we've won. You know what? I'll remember to ask Raphael at the next meeting.
No, but I think we could put it into Google Translate it, but I don't want. We shouldn't do it now. But I bet we could find it.
Anyway.
All right. Okay. But you can ask him on Tuesday. You have Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Buschnitzer and Maudlin. Or whether they are just neutral words. Ich bin gewesen in Lublin. I've been in Lublin and been vorbei eure Schulen and went past your schuls, your synagogues. A Gesang hat sich getroffen von dort wie von 1000 Meiler. A song carried itself out from there like from 1,000 miles. A Wildgesang, a wild song, aber mit ein paar Jahr später seien dort umgekommen 10,000 Juden. But with a few years later, 10,000 Jews were killed there. Ich habe geredet mit ein paar, was hat das beigewohnt. I've spoken to another Lord who was present there. Die Juden haben getreten, einer auf dem anderen. The Jews were treading one on the other. Mehr seien geworden erstickt, wie viel man hat euch gemordet. More got suffocated than were actually murdered. Dabei ist der Himmel geblieben blau, but nevertheless the heaven remained blue, die Sonne hat gescheint, the sun shone, und der Gott zu, wenn man ihr schreit, azoi und singt und ihr halt sich für seine verliebte Kinder, but this God to whom you shout and sing and you regard yourself as his beloved children, hat uns alt zugesehen und nicht geschickt, kein Schumhilf, was a spectator to all of this and didn't send any help. Wie kannst du Shalom machen damit hier? How can you make peace with this Jew? How can you accommodate yourself to this? Wie kannst du schlafen bei Nacht, wenn du dermonst dich an die Dosika umblicken? How can you sleep at night when you remind yourself about these accidents, these misfortunes?
Misfortunes, these tragedies. Yeah.
Man ist müde, we're tired, parents, und die Augen fallen zu von sich allein, and the eyes are closing under their own steam. Ich sehe, I see you as du meinst euch mir zu entfernen, that you are avoiding to answer me. Is gerecht, he is correct, Adam. Is gerecht, he is right. Was kann entfernen? How can he answer? Und was können wir entfernen auf die Umblicken, was befallen uns? And how can we answer or explain the misfortunes that are falling on us? Das Fragen allein is Gotteslästerung. Even asking is blasphemy. Du weißt es ganz gut. You know this very well. Pilecki hat gemacht eine österliche Bewegung mit den Augen. Pilecki made a remarkable movement with his eyes. Hat sei etwas wie zu neu gerückt und umgestellt von der Zeit. He had he had, in a way, pushed them together and looked to the side.
I don't understand it. Had they FSV to Neufgeruch, but like he did something to his eyes. But
Yeah,
I don't understand what he did there.
yeah.
He put them on the side. It made some sort of a
No,
grimace.
he pushed them together and then looked to the side.
Side.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how the novel translated. Do you have the novel?
No, I don't. But
I'll see if I can get it from the library.
yeah.
Ich weiß gar nicht, Teresa. I know nothing, Teresa. Weiß schon gar nicht. I really know nothing. Teilmal ducht sich mir, als der Emmes liegt auf der Seite von die Epikureer oder die Cyniker. Oh, okay. Sometimes it seems to me that the truth lies on the side of the Epicureans or the Cynics. Hast gehört von Lucretius Aid? Have you heard of Lucretius Jew? Nein. Nein, Eier durchläuft. No, Your Honor. Sie ist gewesen einer Lucretius und hat gesagt, als alt ist ein Zufall. Once upon a time there was a guy called Lucretius and he said that everything was chance. Telmol lehen ich im Bibel die Kirche hat das verboten. Sometimes I read him, although the church has forbidden that. Hat nicht geglaubt, nicht in Gott und nicht in Götzen. He believed neither in God nor in gods. Als hat gehalten, he thought that everything is nicht mehr wie ein Spiel von blinden Kräften, is a play of blind powers. Du darfst nicht überraschen die dosige Lästerungen. You should not repeat these blasphemies. What Teresa sich angerufen, Teresa Soldat. Efter ist einmal gerecht, perhaps he is right. Wirklich, Adam, really, Adam. Nu, ich will gehen sich zulegen. Nu, I'm going to lie down. Bist gerecht, you are correct, Jew. Die Augen fallen zu von sich allein. The eyes are closing on their own. Rückst dich als du, Teresa, willst noch reden etwas mit Jakob? It looks to me, Teresa, that you still want to talk to the Jew. Ja, hob mit ihm etwas zu reden. Yes, I have something to
Ah,
talk about.
yeah.
Okay. I think
There
that's
it is.
a place to stop. And let's leave the romance for Yaakov to come back to. I mean, this is
No,
over.
no, no. New Yid.
Yeah.